Maybe you've asked yourself what goes into a podcast. And because you may be watching this one, you might wonder what goes into this podcast. Well, this podcast doesn't just happen. There's a bit of strategy, a bit of planning. For example, I was going to record this morning while my wife Bernice was still asleep. I thought I'd quickly slip in a recording because she hasn't been happy lately. She's not that excited about me doing this podcast. She's not fully in support of it because I tend to get obsessed. I start doing this this is why I've stopped and started the podcast so many times, because I get too involved. My mind I go into like a mental fugue, and it's all and I get distracted, and it's all I'm thinking about. And she actually pointed it out to me, and I've been in denial. We've had arguments about it, but then I had a bit of an epiphany today. I'm busy driving along, and actually, Bernice is right, because while I'm driving home from collecting some materials for our little perfume business, in my mind, I'm doing my podcast. In my mind, I'm doing a podcast show in my mind while I'm driving. So whatever you hear now is actually already been done before. It's stale. So I'm going to try and make it sound like I've never done it before. So I didn't record this morning, and I'm recording now. But I said to Bernice, I made sure I did as much work as I could. She's busy downloading a special file. Then she couldn't do it, so I thought, okay, I got a bit of time. Let me slip in an episode. So, she shouted at me yesterday because I didn't do something. I'd forgotten to do something, and this podcast was blamed. At first I thought, what is she on about? And then I realized, you know what? She's right. So I got to. It's like crazy. I mean, it probably doesn't make sense to you. I mean, say you're an accountant. You work from 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon or 5 in the afternoon. You're not driving home and having fantasies about A equals O plus L. Assets equals owner's equity plus liabilities. You know that accountancy formula? You're not thinking tax equations in your mind. Maybe you could be a cardiac surgeon. I mean, are you thinking about that angioplasty that you did or that you're going to do tomorrow? Ooh, I'm up the iliac artery, then I make my way up the inferior vena cava, and then maybe, hey, I don't know, broadcasting or radio. I suppose this isn't radio, but it's like it does take over. Well, it takes over my mind. So I thought I'd just give you a bit of a background and trying to see where I'm coming from. That's why, yesterday, when I did that whole thing about what's his name, David, I forgot it, Tiga. I wasn't in my comfort zone. That didn't excite me. It was like, it wasn't me. Wasn't the standard that you might be accustomed to, or something that you expect from me. So there you have it. What can I say? I wrote notes. Let me just, what am I? Oh, so that was the feedback. Somebody said, Damon, this is not you. Stay away from that. Just talk about your family. Talk about eating. That's better. So let me come clean about something. I claimed last week that I lost 17 kilograms. And it's like you're a gambler. You only tell people about when you win. You don't tell anyone about when you lose. So I've actually gained a kilogram. So I was 117.3 or something kilograms. Now I've gone up to 118.4. So I've lost 16 kilograms. Got to come clean. got to come clean. But you know what it is? I know I'm repeating myself, but in terms of my health and losing weight and trying to run, I've put running in inverted commas because I'm so slow, most people think I'm walking. I don't want to, it's not about me. I don't want to come across as egotistical and it's just, I want to try, I don't know, give you some inspiration, maybe some advice on what to do. But don't listen to me if you are already a fit athlete, please. This is for people that are just you haven't done any exercise in 45 years, 45 years, 20 years, 30 years. You really are terrible. And it's good to remember what you did when you were younger. Because as you get older, you don't realize how you've slowed down and become terrible, how you've slacked. So, I remember when I was running 7 minutes to 8 minutes a kilometer. That was probably 10 years ago. Then, about 3 weeks ago, I was doing 11.5 to 12 minutes a kilometer. Because I only got back into it recently. I got new orthotics for my shoes last week. Oh my God. What a game changer. So already, today, I went down to 10 minutes and 12 seconds per kilometer. I ran 3.4 kilometers. I've gone down to 10 minutes, 12 seconds per kilometer, which is still very slow. A lot of people walk faster than that. So I weigh 117 kilograms. I once weighed 106 kilograms. But even when I weighed 106 kilograms, I was considered fat. Back then, that was 30 years ago. And now I weigh 117, I weighed 134. Put that into perspective. And it's a mountain to climb. I don't have any Tenzing Norgay to help me along. No, my wife Bernice, bless her, she'll offer me chocolate. She'll offer me a sweet. She's no Tenzing Norgay. I could be resentful, I could be angry, but you know what? It's good. She's testing me. Why must she change her life? It reminds me of my mother. A friend of hers, a friend's husband was trying to stop smoking. And my mother said to her name was Bernice as well, Bernice, it doesn't help if you also smoke. Oh my God, she got so angry. So you get some people that, they are enablers, but they're not doing it intentionally. Anyway, where was I? So that is my story. So I went down to 10 minutes and 12 seconds per kilometer. How about that? I was watching, listen to this. I was watching CNN. Let me just see what I just want to see if I've left anything out here. Oh, no. Okay, we go. So I was watching CNN not so long ago, about an hour, 2 hours ago. And imagine if I did this to you. Imagine if I went into detail and explained, this would kill you. This presenter and the other presenter, they put this map up of the Middle East. There's your Iraq, there's your Iran, there's your Pakistan to the right, there's your Israel to the left, there's your Lebanon up there, there's your Syria down there, then Jordan just to the right of Israel, I think. What's with the Houthis? I mean, I said to Bernice, what we've been doing lately, we've been watching YouTube, but we've been doing on YouTube history of. So we did history of Joseph Stalin, we did a thing on history of Thailand. Fascinating. You can't remember everything, but fascinating. history of the Israeli-Palestine conflict. So I said to Bernice earlier on, let's look at history of the Houthis. So we haven't done it yet. We'll get into it. If I come across anything interesting that's not going to bore you to death, maybe I'll share it with you. So there's been a war in Yemen. I don't even know the details, but the world doesn't care. Now the Houthis, you probably know where Yemen is now. Hey? Just admit it, you might not have known where Yemen was before. I learned recently where Yemen was maybe a year or two ago. There it is. Persian Peninsula, they call it. It's like at the entrance to the Suez Canal. So now the Houthis are sending missiles at any ship, because they consider any ship going past them towards the Suez Canal to make their way towards the Middle East as a ship that's, if it's American, if it's British, then it's supporting Israel. So they're sending missiles there. So what happens next? Britain, I think it's mainly America, are hitting the Houthis with missiles. Before the Houthis, the Houthis weren't used to this before. They see these missiles coming toward them. They probably thought, what the hell? So now Iran are supplying the missiles to Houthi. They supporting the Houthi. Iran is supporting the Houthis. I don't get it. What's with this Iran? It seems that Iran is involved in everything. Iran is supporting Hamas. And then what happened in the last couple of days? Iran sent missiles into Pakistan, into Kurd something area of Pakistan. Pakistan's not happy. Hey man. Pakistan's not happy, obviously. They sent missiles into Iraq. This is Iran. Missiles into Iraq. I don't know what Iraq is saying. They sent missiles into Syria. It seems that Iran just wants to do things. So imagine if I sat here and I gave you an analysis of the meaning of all this. Thank God I'm not going to do that. I mean, can you imagine if I try to work it out? And this is where I'm going to maybe be a bit critical of CNN. They're showing us this chart and they're showing that, but come on, give us a bit of an explanation, a bit of an analysis. What is it? Why is Iran doing all this? Any idea? They didn't explain. Thank God I'm not going to explain. But sure. So one of the analysis that they did explain, so since October the 7th, 2023, since the horrific massacre that Hamas committed on Israeli soil, shock, that was terrible. They say that was the start of this whole development around the Middle East, this war. I kind of understand some of it, but how can attacking some grouping in Pakistan, attacking a group in Iraq, I don't really understand. But don't worry, not gonna get into it. No new developments about the David Teague thing. The Under-19 World Cup is starting tomorrow. And was there anything else I want to... hang on, let's just see. No, that's it. So now you have an idea of what happens on this particular podcast. It doesn't just happen. There's strategy, there's planning,